Hello, Westside family. I want to give just an update on the guidelines that our governor has released and what the board has decided to do about those guidelines. But before I do that, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has been so generously supporting the church. I have good news to report that we took in the biggest offering month of the year thus far was last month, the month where we didn't have any public services. So thank you so much for supporting the church and sending in your offerings and tithes to the Lord. One of the things that the new report from the governor says is that we're going to have 5 phases of getting back on track for Indiana. And we were in phase 1, that was stay-at-home orders. Phase 2 starts today, Monday, May 4th, and may I throw in a Star Wars reference, May the 4th be with you. When you hire a nerd as your pastor, that's what you get sometimes. But what during this second phase, they want to limit social gatherings to 25 people or under. So what we want to do as a church is honor that and not meet for the next 2 weeks. And our goal is when we move into phase 3, that is supposed to start May 24th, we are hopefully going to have a meeting again in person starting May 24th. That guideline is going to be gatherings of 100 or less, plus adding in a healthy dose of social distancing and doing church a completely different way. So what do we need to do when we reopen? There's 4 things I think we need to do as a congregation. And just so you also know that this can be rolled back. If things get really bad, if hospitalizations get really bad in the next 2 weeks, he may keep us in this phase 2 and that date may not happen. But if it does happen and we can meet, there are 4 things we must do. Number 1, we need to be humble. And what I mean by that is let us leave our opinions kind of at the door and let us just simply do what is right and what the government is asking us to do once we meet together. We all have opinions, but we don't want to fight. We don't want to bicker with each other. We just want to come together for one purpose, and that is to worship Jesus Christ. So be humble. Second thing you need to do is to be kind. Be kind, because we're going to have those differences of opinions. We want to still be kind with everybody. And even if someone may look like this when they come, someone else may look like this. Thank you, Sydney, for the awesome mask. We don't want to cast any judgments on anybody, but we simply want to be kind and to do our best to do that during this time. Thirdly, we want to be patient. And you're going to hear some more about why it's very important for us to be patient, but there's going to be a lot of changes about our services, and it's going to require an additional amount of patience from us to make sure that we can have everything we need to have, for example, serving communion, but we need to do it in a responsible way that can practice social distancing. So we're asking you to be patient. And finally, above all, love. Love. We want to be a people that is known by our love for one another. So when we get together, let that be the one thing that we strive to do the best, and that is to love God and to love one another during this time. So you're probably eager to know, what are the changes that are going to take place? So what I've done is I've come up with changes to keep everyone safe. These are not John McCann's changes. These come directly from the state of Indiana and as to how they want religious organizations to operate while we have a need to socially distance from one another. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to have new hand sanitizer stations around the church. The current hand sanitizers we have will not kill the virus. It's a non-alcoholic hand sanitizer. So we're going to have the proper hand sanitizer. It's going to be located around the building for everyone's safety. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to say that wearing a mask is optional, but in order for that to happen, we must all do our part to keep the social distancing guidelines. And with that, we are going to we want to make sure that you keep 6 feet apart between individuals or family members of the same unit in the sanctuary. So what that means is we might even have people like ushers to have you sit and making sure that you are 6 feet apart from the next party or the next individual. We really want to make sure we do our part. And that's very important. I know that that's not fun, and we all like sitting by our best friends. We all like sitting in the same row and section, but that can't happen during this time in order to really be safe. We need to make sure we keep that 6 feet distance. And then we are also going to observe non-contact greeting, all right? Should be pretty simple. Just a simple hand wave and a voice of hello is all that we really want to do. We want to adhere to that. And because of that, we will not have a greeting time during our service for that express purpose. And then we are also to avoid handing out materials. So we are not going to produce any bulletins during this time. We also have to make more changes to keep everyone safe. We're going to keep our gathering room closed. We are not to offer donuts, coffee, or other self-service stations such as water fountains. All of that has to be closed off to keep social distancing guidelines in place, and we're not affecting each other. We are establishing protocols for communion. We will dismiss small groups of people to come forward. One person up front will have gloves and a mask on, and that person will hand you 2 cups. 1 cup will be bread, 1 cup will be juice, and we're asking you to take that back to your seat and consume it there with your family. Following service, please place those little cups in the trash as you leave. For offering, when you come up for communion, you can drop your offering envelope or check right there in the plate. It'll be on the table with the communion. And we are asking you to please don't touch the plate. We don't want a bunch of hands all over the plate. We want to keep John Cox as safe and healthy as possible. So we want to do that for him. And finally, this is our last page. This is the last thing. We must dismiss the service in a way that keeps social distancing and not allowing people to congregate in the lobby. We will dismiss by row and ask you to please exit the building and visit with your friends outside while staying 6 feet apart. So when your row is dismissed, please just go directly outside. And outside, there's plenty of room to be socially distanced. The weather is looking beautiful. You'll want to be outside anyway. So we want to make sure that we're not congregating, not even before church or after church in the lobby. We want to go right to our seat or then right outside again. We're also have been asked to keep children's areas closed until the schools are reopened. So therefore, the basement will be closed off. So the doors going down to the basement, those are just going to be closed. From the moment you walk in, there's going to be signs saying that our children's ministry area is closed during this time until the public schools reopen. And there will also be no VBS this year. The first time probably in the history of our church that we have had to cancel and not had a VBS, but we think that's the safest thing for us to do. Families are welcome to bring their kids into the worship service and maintain that social distancing. And finally, remember the 4 things we must do as Christ followers. In order for these things to happen, in order for us to meet together, we must be humble, we must be kind, we must be patient, and above all, we must love. So let us do that. I look forward to getting back with you in our church building and just seeing your faces and hearing your voices give glory to God. Until then, stay safe, and if you have any needs, please don't hesitate to contact the church, and we'll try to help you in any way we can.